Hey guys, Andrew Erickson here, one of the Titan leaders, and I just want to give you a little introduction to intermediate and advanced basic spreadsheet stuff. I'm going to be doing this in Google Sheets, and I think this is something that pretty much every single person is going to learn something. Even the pros at Excel and Google Sheets are going to learn something in this. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to be covering in this. Hopefully it's maybe only 15-20 minutes or so. So we're going to show how to split data into columns. So if you download a CSV file, how you can like split that up. It's really cool, really easy. We're going to reference other tabs. So just like look at, reference other cells and tabs. Name ranges. We're going to learn a few functions. We're going to do drag autofill equations, and then the advanced stuff is stuff that's really powerful if you kind of have like the sort of like the logic, computer science side of your brain. If it's this stuff, if it's not necessary though, so if it's too confusing for you, like you can skip this part, no worries. But we're going to do a count if, a sum if, average if, concatenate, which means to stick two words together, a VLOOKUP, and a pivot table. And I'll even hint at some other like super advanced stuff you can do with your own JavaScript. So what I've done here is grab this listing from Amazon. This is just a top rank thing for spatula. Grab the ASIN, and I went into Cerebro, which is the Helium 10 tool, and I'm just going to load up the keywords on this one. So where this data actually is coming from, don't worry about it. The important part is that we're going to download like a text file, and I'll show you kind of what it looks like. I'm just going to make it so that we don't... Okay, cool. So 43, yeah, okay, cool. So we're going to export this. All right, export as a CSV. And then we're going to... Now I have this data exported as a CSV. I'm opening it here in like a text editor. This is Atom. It's a good text editor, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, but you see all this data here? You see how it's like has a bunch of commas here? That's the comma separated values, CSV, comma separated. And what we're going to do is grab all this data, and I use a Command A or Control A if you're on a Windows, Command A if you're on Mac, Control A, Control C, C as in copy, and then we're going to go over to a spreadsheet, and we're going to paste it in. And you see how it's like, it's all... it's not separated the way it should be. Here's the first little intermediate tip. It's actually super easy to make it into columns. You just go to data, split text to columns, and here you're going to do comma. So it's actually smart to figure out it's already a CSV file, and it'll already pick comma for you. Look, everything's all split for you. It's all beautiful in its own little columns. It's so gorgeous, right? If you don't have commas, you can also do other things too, like let's just do like spaces. Now space is kind of silly because it's not actually separated by spaces, but you can see here, you see how Silicon Spatula Kitchen, it was separated into its own columns. And of course, again, it's not the right one to separate on, but you can separate on a whole bunch of things. And if you separate on, let's say, S, look at that. It takes like everywhere there's an S, it separates it from those into different columns and stuff. So it's really powerful and it's really useful. We're going to go ahead and go with the comma though, so that it actually looks useful. The next thing we're going to learn is how to reference other cells. So reference just means like to look at another cell, right? Reference it as in like just look at this thing. And this is super powerful, and this is what makes spreadsheets way better than like text editors and all those other things like that. So we just have to hit the equals sign, which is top right corner of your keyboard, equals. And you can click on anything. That's it. Look at that. It just takes that value right there. How cool is that? Right? Very simple. Now, why is that useful? We'll see how this is extremely useful soon. Okay, now we can do this also on multiple sheets too. So I'm going to open up another sheet, which is like another tab, right? And I can actually just say equals, and then I can click on this other tab, and I can just grab this word right here. And you see how it says, I can grab that right there, right? So you see how it pulled that word over. Let me go ahead and do it again. And it pulls all these words into this other tab, and we'll see again. We'll see in a second like how that's really powerful. The next thing we're going to do is learn how to name ranges. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to I'm going to go ahead and name 3 different ranges. I'm going to go ahead and name the phrase range here. So I'm going to copy the whole thing. And then you can go into data and named ranges right here. Okay, data, named ranges. We'll go ahead and call this phrase. Okay. And I'll go ahead and name volume. So data, named range, volume. And we'll name this one rank. Okay. Alrighty, that's it. You now learned how to name the range. Okay, now we're going to learn a few functions. This is where the mathy part starts. Now, it's super easy. You don't have to be super duper advanced in math to figure out how to use these things, but these things are very powerful if you can figure out how to use them. So we're going to show you here these functions here. So I'll go ahead and copy them over, and we'll go ahead and put them here at the top. I can just delete this. Okay, so we're going to learn these things. Now, sum, you just type equals SUM parentheses, and now you can type in anything you want here and it'll add all up for you. So you can just type in like 1, 1, 1. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3, right? How cool is that? So we'll just do, let's do 1, oops, 1, 1, 1. Oops, that's not what we want. Okay. Then we can do, let's go ahead and do average and count. So let's go ahead and just do something really simple. So these ones. So we'll say equals sum. And just sum these up. So you see how I highlighted them? I can highlight with my mouse too, right? So I can just do something like this. It's really nice. Open, close parenthesis. Sum, so 3 plus 3. Let's go ahead and do an average. So equals average. Like that. Cool. Easy, right? Now we can do count. This is going to count how many things there are here. 3, right? Okay, 1, 2, 3. That makes sense. And the cool thing is that this will auto update. So if you do 2, 2, 2, look at that. Sum is 6, average is 2, count is 3. Very simple and easy, right? And in fact, actually one thing that's kind of cool, another little pro tip for you, is that you can get all that stuff down here in the right-hand corner. If you just highlight anything, you can actually grab those numbers right here. Just kind of nice little quick hand thing right there. Now, watch this. Instead of doing these little numbers, they're kind of useless and dumb, right? Why don't we do a sum of this whole column C? But I don't want to have to like drag. Imagine this is like 10,000 lines. I don't want to drag the whole thing. That sucks, right? So what I'm going to do is just say rank. Look at that. You see how it's all highlighted? That's because we named that column rank earlier. Boom. Equals average. This one we'll go ahead and do the volume. Boom. And count, let's do count of phrases. And again, we can see the orange. You see how it turns orange? But if it's not the right word, then it's black. But once we match it, then it's now orange. And we can see here, uh-oh. That's strange. We'll do count of rank. And I guess it's 43. All right, cool. Look at that. So now we can say we have 43 values, and the average search volume is 4,100, and the sum of all the rank is 527. So you can see that these little functions are very nice, right? And now we can do, let's go ahead and use an if. So if is like a conditional, which means that if something is true, one thing will happen. If it's false, something else will happen. So we can do something like this. If this number is less than 25, then say first page. Now if it's false, if it's greater than 25, we'll say not first page. First page. Cool. Now we're gonna learn this autofill technique. So we'll say like page. Let's do first page question mark, and we can do if this is less than 25, then we'll say first page. If it's not 25, then we'll just say second page. Second page plus. So you can type anything you want in here, right? So now we can do this autofill thing. This thing's really nice. You just grab this little corner in the bottom right corner. You grab that and drop it down. And look at that. First page, first page, first page. Okay. So now we come all the way down to right here. Right? Oh, shoot. I already gave away the answer. But now imagine when we drop this down, what are all of these going to say here? These are greater than 25. Or I should say they're not less than 25. So when we drop this down, they say second page plus. So the nice thing is you can do this if, and you can kind of say, okay, I only care about pages that are on the keywords are on the first page. And so I'm going to do this if statement. You can even nest them too. So you can say, like, nesting means to be inside, kind of like Russian nesting dolls. You know, the little like the little grandma opens. There's another one inside, another one, and then they get smaller and smaller. You can do the same thing. So you can actually say, like, let's say if you're less than 10, then we're gonna say top 10. Then you can say another if statement. If C2 is less than 25, then we're going to say first page. And then now if both of these are false, we're going to say whatever, don't care. Okay, top 10. Now, watch this. We'll go ahead and delete all these. We can do this autofill like this, but I can also, Excel and Google Sheets are smart enough that you can just double click it. Boom, look at that. It fills out the whole column for you automatically. And now look what happened. Boom, right there, look at that. So now we can see these are in the top 10 and these are on the first page. And then we get to 25, it's on a don't care. So this is really powerful to like sort things and do all sorts of fun stuff like this. It's really powerful. You can kind of figure out this logic. They call it conditional logic. The next thing we're going to learn is the image function. This is actually really useful when you're like looking at a whole bunch of different products. And for the ROI sheet, I actually use this. I always tell people just to copy and save the image and then upload it. I actually don't do that though. So I'm a little hypocritical because what I do is I actually use this image function. Image. Okay, watch this. We're gonna go back over to here to Amazon, and I'm just gonna, just a regular old Amazon listing, right? I'm gonna click this, and I can right click my mouse. I'm going to copy image address. Okay. Now let's just see what that looks like right here. If I paste that in, you see how it's an image. It ends with a .jpg. That doesn't really matter what that means though. But what I do is if I click that, it's just a regular old image. That's it. There's no website around it. It's just like a picture. But look what Excel or Google Sheets can do. Actually, Excel cannot do this. It's one of the things that Google Sheets does much better than Excel. We just type in image, and we paste that in. Oh, sorry. We have to put a quote around it. So the quote next to the enter button. And it's a double quote. A single quote, I don't think a single quote works. And boom! Look at that. So cool. And we can move it too. Like one thing, sometimes the the image isn't very good at moving around because it's like placed on top of it, but here this equation moves around and you can do this, which is really nice. And so one thing you can do with this is if you were kind of like comparing people's photos, I do this all the time, like kind of like line everyone's photos up and look at them. You can do that really easily with this and makes everything nice and clean. So again, just get that image, right click, copy image, come over to the sheet, and you can just say equals image, quote, paste it, quote, enter. And it loads it so quick. Look at that. So smart. The last one for intermediate, we're going to learn how to use the hyperlink. Okay, so hyperlink, this is the hyperlink, this long URL here. So what I'm going to do is I want to just name this M Kitchen, and I want to grab this long URL. But the thing is that this thing's like really long, and if I just paste it in here, it's kind of ugly, right? It's like you can't really read it very well, and I don't know, it's just kind of confusing, right? So what we can do is actually make this really nice little beautiful thing. We just say hyperlink, and we put the URL in here. Again, you have to put the quotes around it, and then I'm going to call it M Kitchen, like that. Okay, so again, the first thing is the link, the URL, and you have to go comma, and then the word you want it to be. Boom, look at that. So now if you click this, it will go to that. Listing. So that's it for intermediates. Next, we're going to do advanced.